guys, welcome to Bugs Books. I have my tea, I have books, and I am very cozy in my blanket. Today is the 29th of July, which might seem like a perfectly normal day to most people in the world, as it should. However, in this house, it is known this year specifically as a very important day, aka Booker Prize Longlist Day, and I'm very, very excited. We have a good video ahead for you, I hope. I'm going to go through all of the books that I think might be on the Booker Prize and all of the books that I think should be on the Booker Prize, and then I'm going to do a live reaction here for you on all the books that are on the Booker Prize. It's a little bit later in the evening. I have been avoiding social media like the plague all day. I have been avoiding everybody talking about social media, everyone talking about the book prize, anyone who is even remotely interested in books, I have been avoiding like the plague. It's actually been a very healthy day for me because it's been like a nice little social media detox. But my cat just fell off. Fell off the windowsill. Are you okay? You okay? You good? Okay. But no more shall we be waiting. It is now time to, I'm desperate to find out what's on the book price and what my summer reading list is going to look like. So I say let's not, no further ado. I want to make sure my microphone's working because I've got a new microphone that I'm a bit nervous about using, and I'm terrified that there's not going to be any sound. So hopefully it works and hopefully it's good. Let's get right into it. First of all, I want to start with 3 books that I think could, maybe should be on the book prize, and they are my fantasy picks. There's 3 of them. I think they're like a fun way to start. They're also probably the 3 that I think are least likely to be on the Booker Prize, but that's okay. There's 3. First of all, it's The Dream Hotel by Laila Lalami. It's The Dream Hotel by Laila Lalami. I loved this book. I read it when it was on the Women's Debut Fiction Prize. I have a signed edition, so I feel very privileged. It's about Sarah. Sarah's returning home from a conference abroad with agents from the Rick Assessment Administration pull her aside at the airport. Using data from her dreams, their algorithm has determined that she is at imminent risk of harming her husband. For her safety, she must be transferred to a retention center and kept under observation for 21 days. But as Sarah arrives to be monitored alongside other dangerous dreamers, she discovers that with every deviation from the facility's strict and ever-shifting rules, their stays can be extended. And that getting home to her family is going to cost much more than just 3 weeks of good behavior. Then one day a new resident arrives, disturbing the order of the facility and leading Sarah on a collision course with the very companies that have deprived her of her freedom. I think this book talks really, in a really interesting manner, in a very unique way, about surveillance and freedom and incarceration. And I think this is a really, really fun pick. I know that fun is maybe not always what you think of when you think of the Booker Prize, but this is honestly a really great book and one I would love to see be on the list. It is kind of like a stark idea of what our future could be like and does give Black Mirror, but I really like it. I do think this book is a little bit of a Marmite book, as in some people really love it and other people don't see the hype. So yeah, I feel like this would be an interesting add to the Booker Prize. Continuing on that kind of mentality of an interesting addition to the Booker Prize, Beautyland by Mary Helen Bertino. It is about Adina, who is a gentle, unforgettable alien for our times, a companion to anyone who has ever felt homesick at home. Born as Voyager 1 is launched into space, Adina is a baby of unusual perception. Tiny and jaundiced, she reaches for warmth and light. As a child, she recognizes she is different, not least because of her strange knowledge of a faraway planet. The sudden arrival of a fax machine confirms her suspicions. Her extraterrestrial relatives have sent her to report on the oddities of the Earthlings. As Adina makes a life for herself amongst humans, she starts to wonder, is there a chance there are others like her out there? This is such a fun book. It talks really interestingly about like a variety of different things. I actually made notes. I should look at them rather than just talk out of my mind. It really is I absolutely love coming of age stories, and this one does it remarkably well. But it also is a really creative and fun story, which is just, I sometimes think is a bit hard to find nowadays. It does feel like we are filtering through a lot of the similar stories, and people feel like there isn't a new story to write, and this definitely is. It has lots of heart, and but still has that wonderful literary flair that we are hoping for when we look at the book price. So yeah, I think this could be a really cool ad. But again, it's my second fantasy book, and I feel like I'm being delusional with these fantasy picks, but that's why I'm starting with them. My last fantasy pick before I go into just kind of high literary books, I promise, is a book that I think you would have had to be hiding under a rock if you haven't heard of it, if you haven't seen it. It is The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley. I think this book was everywhere. There was about 100 different versions of them, and I didn't buy it in hardback because I feel like everybody was talking so much about it that I kind of got put off. But I did pick up a copy, and I still haven't read it. I know this is a bit mental, especially because I'm saying I think it might be on the book price, but I was talking to a load of people who really follow the book price, and they were kind of in agreement with me that this could be on there. It was longlisted for the women's price, and I think it probably has sold about 1 billion copies. It's about a civil servant is offered a lucrative job in a mysterious new government ministry, gathering expats from across history to test whether time travel is feasible. Her role is to work as a bridge, living with supporting and monitoring expat 1847, Commander Graham Gore, a former Victorian polar explorer. Gore, an adventurer by trade, soon adjusts to his bizarre new world of washing machines, feminisms, and Spotify. And during a long, sultry summer, the pair move from awkwardness to friendship to something more. It's a really, really interesting book, and it's probably different than you might expect. I do think that the jacket copy doesn't really explain it, maybe to the level that it should. But in really plain English, it is set in the near future in the UK. It's a speculative romance thriller, and it follows a government worker assigned to help a time-displaced Victorian explorer acclimatise to modern life. It's really interesting. Again, such a unique story, so different than anything that I've read recently, and it is very good at kind of gender, not gender, sorry. It's very good at kind of genre bending storytelling, and has a lot of commentary about displacement, power, ethics. It's, yeah, very good. Very good. So those are my fantasy picks. And now for the things that I think are maybe slightly more predictable for the Booker prize. First, I'm going to start with one that I'm actually not sure if it still qualifies as being able to be on the Booker prize. I just know it hasn't been on there yet. It was shortlisted for the Women's Prize last year because it came out in 2023, but it was republished in 2024. And it is Anne Enright's The Wren. Obviously, Anne has already won the Writers' Prize for Fiction in 2024, and she has won the Booker Prize with her book. I've completely forgotten the name of it. She won the Booker Prize with her book.
Yeah, so editing Jasmine here. Let's just watch old Jasmine really, really, really forget the name of this book. Yeah, she's not doing. Yeah, she's got nothing. I'm just staring at the list of the book she has written, and I have absolutely no idea which one of those I have read. But it is actually The Gathering. It's a very good book. Would recommend reading it. Um, Jasmine enjoyed it. She just can't remember right now.
I can't think of what book she won the Booker Prize with right now. But
Yeah, we can tell.
she has won the Booker Prize. I know that. But this story is really interesting. It's about Nell, who is a young woman with adventure on her mind. As she sets out into the world, she finds her family history hard to escape. For her mother, Carmel, Nell's leaving home opens a space in her heart where the turmoil of a lifetime begins to churn. Over them both falls the long shadow of Carmel's famous father, an Irish poet of beautiful words and brutal action. From our greatest chronicles of family life, The Wren is a story of the love that can reunite us and the individual acts that threaten this vital bond. It's a really beautiful story. I think it's actually better than the one that she won the book prize with, whose name I cannot remember right now. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's multi-generational trauma exploration that I love books that have domestic relationships in it. And she writes it so well. Her prose and kind of it's always been like lyrical and sharp, and she does it really, really well in this book as well. So not sure if it actually is allowed to be on the book prize, but if it is, it should be. Next, one that again I haven't read. Sorry about that, but I was discussing, and I think a lot of people think it should be on the book prize, and therefore I have added it as I had a copy, and it's a signed copy, so that must be kind of good luck. But it's Natasha Brown's Universality. Universality. I don't know how to say that. I really just realized I've never said that out loud. She's the author of the book Assembly, which I will admit wasn't one of my favorite books, which is why I have this copy, but I haven't actually gotten around to reading it. However, if it is on the book prize, obviously I will read it. It is about late one night on a Yorkshire farm, a man is brutally bludgeoned with a solid gold bar. A plucky young journalist sets out to uncover the truth surrounding the attack, connecting the dots between a banker landlord, an iconoclastic columnist, and a radical anarchist movement. She solves the mystery, but her viral long-read expose raises more questions than it answers. You can tell it's late on the day because my reading seems to be really bad. Universality is a twisty, slippery descent into the rhetoric of truth and power. It does sound good. That sounds good, but I just have to admit that I wasn't a huge fan of some of her previous work, so I just haven't read it yet. However, I am very hopeful that it will change my mind and I will eventually read it, hence why I have the copy. But if it's on the Booker, then it will be sooner rather than later. It's actually the one that I feel could be on the Booker, so I'm hoping that I get at least one right, and it's that one. Actually, that's not true. If I get one right, I don't particularly want it to be that one. I want it to be one of the ones I've read and loved. For example, The Artist by Lucy Steed. I know it's just been added to the Waterstones debut prize. It was longlisted on the women's debut prize, and it is a really good book. It's set in Provence 1920. Etty moves through the remote farmhouse, silently creating the conditions that make her uncle's artistic genius possible. Joseph, an aspiring journalist, has been invited to the house. He believes he'll make his name by interviewing the reclusive painter, the great Eduardo Tartuffe. But everyone has their secrets, and under the cover of darkness, Etty has spent years cultivating hers. Over this sweltering summer, everyone's true colours will be revealed. because Etty is ready to be seen, even if it means setting her world on fire, which is why this cover is so genius. And I'm sad that they changed it for the Waterstones cover. I don't understand why they didn't get it or like it. This is a good cover. This is a good cover. It's a match. Burning up. It's so clever. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But the point is, I hope this one's on there. I think it's a really interesting book. Really good, really fun read. It's kind of romantic and one of those sun-drenched books you see on the table. 1 second, my cat is about to cause a mess. The next one is one that I really, really, truly want to be on the list. But again, I don't feel super confident that it will be on the list. I feel like that's my mentality for all of these books a little bit. So perhaps there's no point in this video. But, the next one is Flesh. It's by David Saleh. Just realized I've again never said his name out loud, and I definitely should have looked up everybody's names and how to say them before I made this video. So I'm really sorry if I have butchered your names, and I will not try and attempt to say it again. But he has been shortlisted for the Booker Prize previously. I'm pretty sure he was born in Canada, raised in Vienna, or the other way around. And I was kind of expecting to see this on the international book list, but it wasn't. So I'm hoping the reason is because it's on the Booker. Please. But I'm gonna back myself and say it's on the Booker, but I don't feel particularly confident. It's about 15-year-old Istvan living with his mother in a quiet apartment complex in Hungary. New to the town and shy, he is unfamiliar with the social rituals at school and soon becomes isolated with his neighbor, a married woman close to his mother's age, as his only companion. Their encounters shift into a clandestine relationship that Istvan barely understands, and his life soon spirals out of control. As the years pass, he is carried gradually upwards on the 21st century tides of money and power, moving from the army to the company of London super-rich, with his own competing impulses for love, intimacy, status, and wealth winning him unimaginable riches until they threaten to undo him completely. Spare and penetrating Flesh is the finest novel yet by a master of realism, asking profound questions about what drives a life, what makes it worth living, and what breaks it. Again, I made notes, but I said I think it should be on there because it's a Booker longlisted, a Booker shortlisted author. A Booker shortlisted author who lauded for wit, relevance, and piercing critique of storytelling in a polarized society. But yeah, it's pretty much about a middle-aged columnist becoming a viral figure in a satirical novel dissecting identity, politics, race, and media narratives. And it's really, really topical at the moment. The issues that he kind of talks about in this book are very topical at the moment. It's absolutely beautiful written novel with it seems like he's got great authority in what he's talking about. It feels just it feels really good to read it. I don't know what else to say, but I hope it's on the list. If there's one that I want on the list, it's this one. Or that's not true. If there's one that I would add to the list, if I was a Booker Prize judge, if I could choose the winner right off the bat, there would be only one book on the Booker Prize, and we would just skip the long list and the short list, and the only one that would win is this. Oh, look at that cover. Is Elif Shafak's There Are Rivers in the Sky. Elif Shafak was nominated for the Booker Prize previously with her book 10 minutes, 38 seconds in this strange world, and she didn't win back then, which is completely fine because her best work is right here in my hand. It is There Are Rivers in the Sky. It is by far her best work. It is the most beautiful book. I have been recommending it again and again and again since I read it last year when it came out, and I read it again this year. I've read it 3 times in total now, and one of those times I literally sat by the Thames River and read it all in one go, which is very topical if you have read the book. It is, I always like this beginning bit. It says, "This is the story of one lost poem, 2 great rivers, and 3 remarkable lives, all connected by a single drop of water." And I don't think you should read anything else about the book. Just take that and know that the book is even more beautiful than its gorgeous cover. It is stunning. It is water remembers. Water remembers. And I will remember Booker Prize judges if you do not put this book on it. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. But it is a really, really stunning book. So that one is definitely on my list. A book that I cannot find. I have it somewhere, but I cannot find it. Is Yael van der Woudsen. I read it. I've read the book, so it has to be here somewhere, but I must have misplaced it somewhere. It is The Safekeep by Yael van der Wouden. It's about 1961 Netherlands. A young woman becomes entangled with her brother's girlfriend while grappling with buried Holocaust-era guilt tied to her family home. I know that it won the Women's Prize Fiction, and historically speaking, that means it won't be on the Booker Prize, unfortunately. However, it was such a beautiful book. Everyone I know loved it, and everyone that read it loved it. And I just truly think it should be on there. It has really good erotic tension, moral ambiguity, and it wraps it all up in like this elegant gothic atmosphere. So, I mean, doesn't that sound good? It's good, right? Like, that sounds really good. So that's one of the ones that I think should be on it. One that I read on Kindle, so I will again put the cover here, is Shang Lu's Ghost Cities. It's about 2 interlocking narratives exploring cultural erasure, satire, and surveillance. One following a disgraced translator in a ghost city film set, the other mythic tales from ancient the other mythic tales from ancient China. It won the 2025 Miles Franklin Award, and I would describe it as brilliantly bonkers. Yeah, that's a really good way of describing it. It is a very unique book that talks a lot about authenticity and what an artistic voice means, and exile, and it's a really interesting book. But bonkers book. Next, another one that I feel quite like low level confident about ish is The South by Tash Orr. Have it. Here we go. It's The South by Tash Orr. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Signed by the author. Look at me go. I feel quite confident about it. Again, it's a coming of age story, and I do love a coming of age story. I love books that deal with domestic issues. It's a queer coming of age story set in 1990s Malaysia, and it's set against kind of all of the issues that are being faced in that time, like drought and the tension and a nation in kind of crisis. It says, "It's a radiant novel of the longing that blooms between 2 boys over the course of one summer, about family, desire, and what we inherit from a celebrated author, Tash Orr." Very beautiful book, very well written. I'm looking forward to reading it again if it's on the Booker. I will read any book that's on the Booker again, but I feel confident this is going to be on it. I don't know why I feel confident about it. It just feels a very Bookerish book, you know. This one, I think it's going to be on there. Fingers crossed. I'm mostly hoping that I get at least 2 or 3 correct. What do you think? You think I'm going to be right? Probably not, right? Now for the important bit, the bit that I've been waiting for literally the entire day. What books are actually on the booker? I have my laptop. I have found a video where they announce all of them. I feel like I should do like a final wrap up of which books I actually think will be on there from the books that I've chosen. I would say, well, The South, I think will definitely be on there. I think I'm gonna leave the fantasy books off because I'm not delusional. I'm gonna put Universality on there, and then I think the art, like the artist, maybe like these three feel quite different to each other. And then like, please let this be on the list. It's not going to be on the list. I can just tell because I want it too much. But if there's one book that I was going to add to the list, it would definitely be this. So I'm going to go with these ones as my definites. And then the rest, honestly, would just be nice. It would just be nice. It would just be nice. So anyway, we're going to get going. I've got the video where they announce. I found it on YouTube. I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous. It's pretty much like telling me what I'm going to be reading for the next like 3 months. So the Booker Prize 2025 longlist. It's blurry. Oh, Love Forms by Claire Adam. Okay. The South. Casual. Okay. Universality. I knew it. I knew it was going to be there. One Boat by Jonathan Buckley. Susan Troy's Flashlight. I think I have that. The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny. Okay. The Audition by Katie Kitamura. She wrote Intimacies, didn't she? The Rest of Our Lives by Ben Markovich. Okay, I haven't heard of it. The Land in Water. Endling. Okay. Flesh. I'm so glad that's on there. Sea Scraper by Benjamin Wood. Misinterpretation by someone. I went too fast. I didn't see it. And fiction worth talking about. The Booker Prize 2025. Okay. I need to just take a moment because it all went really fast. Let me pull it up quickly and we can go through it. Okay, I have found the list, the whole list. Some of which I also have, so I've taken them and grabbed them to go through. I haven't got all of them, but I have got some of them. The first one, I forgot to get this, but I do have it. 1 sec. Okay, I have the pile of books as well, of the ones that I definitely have that we can go through. So, first of all, Love Forms. I have this book. I haven't read it yet, but I do have it. I just grabbed it. Here we go. Love Forms by Claire Adam. It says it's an evocative, arresting tale of love and grief from the award-winning Golden Girl author. Love Forms is a stunning meditation on the pain of motherhood through the story of a Trinidadian Dawn who reconnects with the daughter she left behind 4 decades earlier. I haven't read anything by her, but I thought this quote in the back where it said, I had let years pass before I thought to ask where she might be, and yet she was still my daughter after all. She was a part of us, a missing part. That sold it to me because I don't know how many times I need to mention it, but I really love books about domestic relationships, and my favourite domestic relationship to read about are mother-daughter relationships. It's my favourite thing to write about. It's my favourite thing to read about. So I'm so excited. This might have to be book 1 for reading. Very excited about that one. The next one was The South, which we've already gone through. Very excited. My signed copy has just become worth a lot more. Third, Universality. I'm doing better than I thought I was going to be doing. That's at least 2 books that I thought was going to be on there that actually are. Next, One Boat. It's already out in paperback. It's by Jonathan Buckley, an absorbingly humane and thought-provoking. Buckley's bravura novella finds a woman grieving for her father returned to the small Greek town where she mourned her mother, and reunite with an unforgettable cast of locals, each with their unique longings and regrets. Yeah, that's like, it sounds like it's right up my street. I'm very excited about it. So that'll be fun to read. I'll have to get a copy of that. Flashlight, again, one I have, and I nearly put on the list, but I didn't. Susan Choi. It's subliminally crafted and endlessly surprising. Flashlight centers on a family devastated by the inexplicable disappearance of Father Suk, a Korean US emigre on a holiday in a Japanese coastal town. It sounded really good in the store. I'm a big fan of like post-war Korean and Japanese communities, so I'm very intrigued about it. I think it's set in North America and Korea or Japan. I don't know. I think it's set in a couple of different locations. So, yeah, really interested to read that. I picked it up, but haven't got around to it yet. So, love that. This one I've never heard of before. The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny. I must have completely missed that because I have read The Inheritance of Loss because Kiran Desai is a Booker Prize winner already, and now could be a two-time Booker Prize winner. Can you imagine? Um, it's comes it sorry, the story comes with a captivating tale about class, country, race, and history. Following the endlessly complicated romance of two modern Indians in a globalized world with humor and sharp insight. I mean, that sounds really good. So I hadn't heard of it before. Must have slipped past me, but exciting. Oh, it's not out yet. That's why. Is the signed hard edition just not out yet, or is the book not out yet? I'd have to look. It looks like it's coming out on the 25th of September. When does the Booker Prize get awarded in December? I wonder when the long list comes out. I actually don't know the date of it. But interesting. That's why I haven't got it or read it. Next, Audition by Katie Kitamura. It is two competing narratives unspooled from a mysterious meeting in a Manhattan restaurant in a razor-sharp and cleverly constructed novel from the author of the acclaimed Intimacies. I thought she wrote that. This product is currently unavailable. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote that. Great. I loved Intimacies. I thought that was a really great book. So excited to read that. And then The Rest of Our Lives, again, one I have not has slipped past me, by Ben Markovitz. The acclaimed author of You Don't Have to Live Like This puts a brilliant original spin on the great American road trip in this funny and poignant story of a man who, having dropped off his daughter at university, decides to fulfill a promise he made to himself 12 years earlier. Okay, well, that sounds good. That sounds really exciting. Again, sounds like it's going to also talk about father-daughter relationships. Again, a relationship that I love to explore. I just love domestic relationships and how complicated they can be and how interesting they can be. So really excited about that. Land in Winter by Andrew Miller. From the masterful pen of the author of Pure and Oxygen comes a painfully acute dissertation of resentment and betrayal as two couples find themselves cut off from the rest of the world during the devastating winter of 1962. Interesting. I don't know what happened in 1962. Is that a piece of history that I should know about and am missing? Possibly. Hopefully I haven't aged myself there. Endling by Maria Raver. Never heard of it. Never heard of her either. Hilarious, heartbreaking, and strikingly original. Raver's futuristic debut, that's why I haven't heard of her, about a Ukrainian scientist who funds her research of rare snails with sex work mines, the country's notorious romance tour industry, feminist activism, family dynamics, and the starkness of war with incredible dexterity and cool fury. Rare snails with sex work mines. How do you come up with that? Like, where did you get the inspiration? I mean, it sounds interesting. Like, it sounds like a very unique idea. And then Flesh, which I obviously have already spoken about and I'm a big fan of. Sea Scraper by Benjamin Wood. Vivid, atmospheric, and profound. This slim, sounds like a quick read, but powerful masterpiece from the author of The Young Accomplice opens new windows of opportunity in the monotonous life of young Long Ferry shrimp catcher when a Hollywood director arrives in town and requests his help with scouting film locations. Fair enough. That sounds interesting. Maybe not one I would have picked up. Just so it's always fun when the book kind of pushes you to read books you might never have picked up. That's why I love all of these prizes so much. Misinterpretation by Ladia Soga. Lydia Sodia, a deft and propulsive tale of ill-fated decisions, the endurance legacy of conflict and the complexity of truth. Soda's masterful debut novel follows an Albanian interpreter whose life in New York is thrown into turmoil after she agrees to work with a Kosovar torture survivor in his therapy sessions. Again, how did you come up with that? Like, is that based on a true story? Love that concept. It's really interesting. Hate the cover though. Sorry, Lydia. I know Lydia. Lydia. I don't. I know you had nothing to do with that cover, but this whole like picture and then really bright, bold colors with writing over it. It's being done. Being done at the moment. Being done. And that is the 2025 International Book Prize longlist. I'm so excited. I can't wait to start reading. Thank you so much for coming along with me, and I'm so glad that I can get back onto social media. This will become a series where I probably will read about 2 or 3 books at a time and do a video about it. So come along and read with me. I don't know where to start, probably with the ones I already have. I think I'm going to start by rereading Flesh, or if I don't reread it, at least talking about it. And second, I'm really intrigued by this one, so that might be a good one to start with. But honestly, all of them sound interesting. Maybe I need to get this out of the way because it's been on my shelf for ages and it just didn't. I want to be proven wrong, so that will be a good one to start with, maybe. But I will let you know what I start with, and follow along on here and on the Clock app, where I'll be talking about it more.